just take questions. Brian, go ahead. Sorry.
Matt, what just kind of changed the tide of the game there after a few minutes? You made that run in the middle of the first half.
Yeah, just you know, trying to settle in and take care of the basketball. That we had a couple unforced errors. Just giving ourselves a chance, in terms of playing through the post, playing through ball screens, and just kind of taking what Iowa gives us, and not trying to have predetermined thoughts. I mean, at times we, get a little carried away with it, and if we can get the basketball inside, then great. If we can't, then try to take that away, and really look for those shooters coming off pin downs, and just getting shots, and then trying to live on the glass. And we have a great rebounding team, and tonight, our ability to rebound the ball was probably the difference in the game. Out rebound by 26 and getting 19 offensive rebounds. That's pretty impressive.
Coach, it looked like Iowa had a potential to get back in it. I think it was like 5 minutes left.
Right.
You held them scoreless from the field over that final 4:44. What was working for you guys?
Yeah, I thought both teams got pretty fatigued there, to be honest with you. I thought we had some good looks. Sanford got away from us a couple of times, and we were very fortunate that he just missed some of those threes. Like, he got that one flare wide open. Then he got a couple more right after that, and you thought, and you've seen how, like, he single-handedly in those situations can get it rolling and make it really difficult. But that's what I looked at. I thought Zach was pretty gassed. I thought Braden was pretty gassed. Then just some of the looks on the Iowa guys' face, I thought everybody played really hard and just got really fatigued. And sometimes late in games that happens, and you see some shots get short and not going.
Matt. Just that stretch in the first half. You had Zach out of the game. Cam gets a putback, Caleb gets a putback. He gets basically 4 straight points from defense. Just the job you mentioned it.
Yeah.
Kind of weathering that period.
Yeah.
Zach on the floor.
Yeah, just being active. Like, obviously we prefer Zach to be in the game. But how are we going to play when he gets in foul trouble, or how are we going to play when we're trying to give him a breather right there? And I thought those guys were very active. Sometimes when you get into rotations, and I know he's not in during that thing, when you get into rotations and you're doubling and doing some different things, now you don't have great, block out responsibility, and that's the downside of it, because we scheme at times, and that really affects us, but he normally saves the day for us because he kind of, which I call satellite defense. If you can get him on somebody that he doesn't have to cover on the perimeter, he can just stay in there. But I thought Caleb and Cam and Ethan right there in that stretch, really helped us. And I think Mason, just in general, when he subs in, his ability to stretch the defense as that other big really helps.
Matt, you've coached a lot of really good big men. You've played against a lot of really good bigs. Owen Freeman, there's a lot of excitement in Iowa City about him. I know he had a little bit of foul trouble tonight, but I was just curious what your kind of scouting report and your early perception of him is.
Yeah, for us, we went back and forth about, who should guard who, like, Owen Freeman and Cricky, because Cricky could stretch you out a little bit more right now. And then, like, we don't like to get Zebo away from the basket. So we put Zach on him, but it's not fair because he gets into foul trouble. But he's got a combination of size and athleticism. He can move, and so, like, sometimes the guys that can move don't have the strength. He has both, and now he's got a build to where now he can drive that ball from the high post. He can shoot for the perimeter because he's got the other stuff. He's got the intangibles. His competitive spirit's high, and that's sometimes what you don't see with bigs, right? You wonder about their motor and getting going. He's got a really good motor. And he's in a great place. If you look at the bigs and the combo forwards that Franz had, he's really utilized them and got the most out of them, offensively. Just with now he's got to add a piece to his game, because look how many times he's been freshman of the week. Like, look how productive he's been. He's been a very productive player. Now he needs to make that jump and be an all-conference type guy, and he has the ability to do so.
You saw Iowa earlier in the year, and
yes.
You've seen now. Has there been much growth, and in what ways?
Yeah, without question. They've won 6 out of 7, 3 games in a row. Coming in here, we have the distinct ability to be able to have somebody in the game that they can't have in their practice, and it's just hard, right? And it's just different. So, like, when you don't do that and they spread you out, and they attack you, it's hard. I told our team, I said, you're not seeing the same Iowa team that we saw earlier in the year, and that's a human nature thing, right? Because we had a pretty substantial victory in that game. So, like, human nature, like, guys are like, okay, this will be all right. I'm like, it's not the same team. All those guys have made progress. They didn't have Patrick today. And I think the place, Patrick helps them in that press. Patrick gets on that point of that press and causes havoc. and now he has an interchangeable piece. He's got length, he's got athleticism. But no, I just think that Owen Freeman making the jump, Dick's being more of like a main guy to go along with Sanford. Perk didn't have a good game against us at our place, and he was fabulous tonight. And I told those guys that. I said, hey man, the kid's got a lot of pride. He's a good player. You know, he torched us in that Big Ten tournament championship. That was nice of Iowa to put that up there. About them beat us in the tournament championship. So, but no, they're going to keep getting better, right? You want more. You know, there's not a fan base in the country that doesn't want more. You know, no matter what your record is or whatever, you know, people want more from you, and that's okay because we're all competitive and we want more too.
Matt, how has your bench expanded just defensively to make an impact? This seems like 2 games in a row where Ethan and Camden both were kind of sparks.
Yeah,
for your
both those
defense.
guys have really helped us. I thought Mason did a good job. You know, tonight he had a couple real physical box outs. Didn't allow those guys to get angles on him there. But no, just, you know, playing the role, it's hard, man. People don't realize when you look at people and they play 8 minutes, 9 minutes, 8 minutes, you know, and they're still productive. Most people, like when you sub in twice and you play 8 minutes total, it's hard to get in the flow of things. It's hard to understand that. But if you just accept those type of things and just keep getting better in all those areas, you know, you're going to give yourself a better chance, but you're also going to help your team win.
Matt, you got some timely shots. You mentioned the fatigue down the stretch, but I think you had 3 turnovers in 4 possessions, but Braden hits a 3 that kind of stops a run, and then Lance obviously with the step back that pretty much ended this game.
Right.
Is that just, you know, guys that have played a lot of ball kind of
Right.
getting out a win?
Yeah, just trying to, you know, be positive with them. When they take good shots and they miss them, you know, just trying to encourage them to keep shooting. And that's all we do. And, you know, Fran's one of the best at that, at making guys, you know, feel good about themselves. And, you know, you harp on them about rebounding, you harp on them about guarding, you harp on them about playing harder. But then, you know, when it comes to taking good shots and missing them, you can't harp on them. You're not trying to miss it, right? That's where you got to be positive and just engage them to understand, like, when that comes back around again after you miss those 2, you got to take it again. You know, for us, we've really gotten that way because our ability to rebound and offensive rebound, we've been able to do it at a high clip. So, like, sometimes our misses generates points for us. So, but our turnovers don't. And, you know, that generates for the other team, especially the pick sixes. So that's all we, you know, try to do with those guys, even if they've missed. Just keep encouraging them. But those were both really big shots for us.
Just Trey,
Matt,
all right.
Recruit Lance to play the same role as he did at SIU, but that leading scorer mentality he brought from NBC, helping in his role in situations like
like he's not scared of the moment. Sometimes that helps us, sometimes that hurts us, but God bless him. But no, just, you know, understanding, like in the first half, he's got Zebo 3 or 4 times when he's taking those shots. And so, like, if he's wide open and not being contested, like, there's nothing wrong with that. But when they're getting contested, like, you know, you got to throw that to big fella. One thing you're not going to do is you're not going to get into the bonus. You're not going to wear people out. You're not going to get to the free throw line shooting tough threes. You're just not. And you might have a game where you can, you know, make a bunch, and good for you. But over the long haul, get those starters on the bench, get to the free throw line, and just keep wearing people out. And if they want to come double and get in rotations, now we're still going to get an open shot then. But now, so the rotations are people that don't double a lot. It's really hard for them. They get a good double, but their rotation's not good, but their rebound balance isn't good. Like, and so, like, we get doubled all the time. So, like, that's what it gets. So, like, we've learned to try to generate offense when people fly at us and they're rotating around. Like, now they don't know who they have because somebody went and double the post.
Trey, okay? Do you know what?
Trey, I don't know. I didn't check with him. He seemed to be okay, but he took a hard. I'm just glad he boxed out.
Is there anything else?